Recently, in the hobby, there's been a lot of talk about so-called celebrities, grifters, clickbait, and things like that. People are starting to do a pushback against people who are essentially using our hobby for the wrong means, to create drama, to make money, to try and push their own sense of self-worth and celebrity and things like that. And that's perfectly fine. But the problem is that some of the more vocal detractors don't seem to understand the difference between people who are here because they genuinely want to share their passions with other people who also share those passions, and people who are here just to try and push their own sense of self-worth or to make money. And there are differences. Recently, a post from Roads and Rails went around the community where the poster was discussing the growing number of model railway celebrities. He tried to differentiate between actual celebrities and people whose views start to become influential, who are motivated by freebies and payouts, and have affiliations to particular brands which they will promote for financial gain. He cited Railnuts as an example of actual celebrities. Fair dues, if that's what he thinks they are, that's great. I'm not going to argue that. That's not what we're here for. But I want to point out this. Here is a picture of Making Tracks. That's Railnuts model railway. And if you notice, it's covered in a large number of sponsors on their signs. Does Railnuts use these products? I'd like to think so, but I can't go and check. Now, he doesn't put in any examples of people that fall into his second category. Not in the original post, but in the replies to his comment, he does elaborate. All the people that come up all the time trying to sell channel memberships, affiliate links, etc., where it feels like the modelling has taken a back seat because they are popular. Unfortunately, this is a very open-ended statement, which kind of covers a little bit of Railnuts. They've got sponsors, but it also essentially splits the two groups into people he likes and people he doesn't like. I don't think that might be what he was actually aiming to do, but that is the end result, or at least that's how it feels. And that's the problem with such open-ended generalizations. Now, this isn't the first time that something like this has happened, and it won't be the last. So please don't think that I'm singling this guy out, because I'm not. I'm just using this as the latest example because it really seems to hit the nail on the head in terms of what I'm trying to talk about here. But we're not singling out, and please don't try and do that in the comments. We will watch what's going on and try and make sure that people don't cross the line. Instead, what I'm actually here to show you is that while the majority of us are genuine YouTubers trying to share our passions, grifters do exist in the hobby. We all know who they are. We're not going to mention any people because this is not the start of a witch hunt, but we all know that they're there. And the problem is that they use the same tools as genuine YouTubers. They hide in plain sight, and generalizing open-ended statements like this tend to tar everyone. So let's break down what's actually going on. Let's use an example that I think we can all understand in order to separate the grifters from the real YouTubers. A standard YouTuber is like ITV. These are ad-funded, they produce content that appeals to a specific audience, and they'll occasionally have sponsors or people co-funding the production of a show. In YouTubers' case, it will be something like Patreon or channel memberships. And then you have the grifters. Grifters are not using the ITV style of model. Grifters are more like Babe Station. You get a small amount of content, but it's not there to share a passion. It's there to push you toward spending some money so that you can see the rest. To a certain extent, I think the Roads and Rails post fits perfectly into this analogy. When he talks about trying to sell channel memberships, affiliate links, etc., it's very much like the Babe Station model. You get a little bit of free content, but if you want the rest, you need to buy the memberships. It's pay-per-view, essentially. You pay extra for a special invite-only live chat. You pay extra or join a high tier on Patreon to get access to exclusive videos and so forth. But the problem is that legitimate YouTubers also use these monetization methods. I work with Jenny Kirk. We run these channels together. And what does Jenny have? Channel memberships, Patreon, affiliate links. We have these because it helps to offset costs. When you go to Jenny's channel and you become a patron, for example, you can get access, early access, to Friday videos. channel members, they get the Friday video ad-free. Well, YouTube ad-free. We have to put the sponsors in because it's a contractual thing. They've paid money to have the sponsorship. We've used that money to make the video. They've got to be in there. That's the exchange. That's how it works. But if you're just trying to put everyone into the same barrel, well, people asking for money and people using funding to create videos, they look the same. If you're going for a too broad a spectrum, you can't tar us all with the same brush. But why do YouTubers need money at all? Why can't they have ad-free stuff? Why can't they not have sponsors? Never take funds. Never take free review samples, which most of the time you have to send back anyway. And if you don't, it's just because the company has said, well, we can't sell it, so what's the use? Why do we do it? Well, it's because YouTube has become very expensive. If you think about it from the start of when Jen and I started doing all of this stuff on YouTube, we're going back about 15 years from when I started. I've been here a very long time and I've seen all the changes. I remember when YouTube had no monetization whatsoever, and it's changed very much since then. The costs have all gone up. Let's say we're making a video and I'm editing it. It takes about 10 to 12 hours. A review could easily take between 8 and 16 to even 20 hours to make if it's a very complicated review. So, am I taking a day off from an actual job in order to spend all that time editing? Or am I coming home from a full day's job and doing nothing but editing in order to get that video out at a point where people are still going to be interested in the content? Reviews are terrible for this because, let's face it, if you're not first or within the first week or so of a product coming out, everyone who wants to see a review, well, they've already gone because that product is now being replaced by the next big thing. So you've got a very limited time frame on a lot of videos. If I want to make sure that it's out, and I do want to make sure it's out because if I'm spending a load of time and effort making something, I want to make sure that that's worthwhile. I want to make sure that you guys see it. Otherwise, what's the point? Well, I've got to spend that time. So, do I spend all of my time that I wasn't working doing this edit? Or do I take time off from a job and just focus on the edit? I'm losing money either way. So, Patreon, sponsorships, ad revenue, all of that, it helps to offset that. And it makes it viable to make videos regularly, rather than just here and there as I can, part-time, which is what Jen and I did at the start. Now, some of you will not like the reality of the situation, but it is how it is. That's how the cookie crumbles these days. YouTube itself demands consistency. If you want to be seen and you want the algorithm to pick up your channel and show it to people who are going to be interested, it has to know that you are going to consistently put videos out. If you put one out every now and again, it just doesn't work. So yes, offsetting the costs by Patreon or affiliate links or anything like that, it does help to maintain that consistency by making it viable for us to be able to record videos, edit them, upload them on a regular schedule. That's just how life is. But here's the thing you have to bear in mind. Just because we've got links or a membership or a patron or something like that doesn't necessarily mean that the content was made to make money. Look at it this way. If you can watch a video and think, they did this because they wanted to review a locomotive, or they did this because they wanted to show us a thing they've been to, or to show you something they have made, then that's a YouTuber. But if you think, this video has just been made to push a membership, or to push you toward their Patreon, or to make a bit of cash from sales of X, Y, and Z, you're probably looking at a grifter. They are different and you can spot the difference, but the generalization of these ideas of which category someone goes into does not help it, because it ends up letting the grifters hide amongst the genuine YouTubers. Oh, and to those of you who say, well, why don't you just turn off the ads so that your content stands on its own and you won't get pushed into the same box as grifters? Doesn't work like that. YouTube will not push a video that not only doesn't have adverts on, but even won't push videos if you have turned down the number of in-video ads that it will automatically want to put into your videos. I can prove this. Here are some statistics for a series where I'm playing through the horror action game BioShock. The game includes music that is still in copyright, so every now and again I'll get a copyright match on that music. Have a look at what happens to the statistics. The views are much lower, half the usual amount in one case, compared to a video where that hasn't happened and the monetization is still on. The people who watched the videos where monetization was turned off were either those who were watching the live stream when it was first broadcast or who found it in their subscription feed. Those videos were not pushed to anyone outside of people who had already subscribed. If YouTube cannot make money from your video, they will not push your video to anyone. It costs money to stream a video to you from YouTube, and they want to recoup that cost. They do it via ads, and they want to make a profit on that. They do it via ads as well. So if they cannot run adverts, they have no incentive whatsoever to show anyone your video. You will not get seen on the front page of YouTube. You will not get seen in the "if you like this, you should try these other videos" lists. It doesn't work like that. It will not show your video. It will just disappear as if it was never there. So, if you are trying to share your passion, why would you turn off adverts? Because your passion will not be shared. People won't see it. You're talking to no one. You might as well go outside and just talk to the first person you see in the street. You will actually have more reach that way than if you put out a non-monetized video. And now we come to the clickbait thumbnail part of this, because consistency and the ability to run ads are not the only factors in YouTube determining whether anyone gets to see your video. You also need an eye-catching thumbnail. This is because part of the algorithm goes by, oh, people have clicked on this video and watched it. I should share it to other people who have similar interests to the people who've already watched it. If it's not doing that, you don't spread. It's the same factor. Eye-catching thumbnails work best for this. Here's the thing. Eye-catching thumbnails are not the same as clickbait. Clickbait is a specific thing. It's a bait and switch. You think you're getting X, but you're actually getting Y. That's where the term clickbait comes from. It's literally click, bait and switch. That's what it is. So, if a thumbnail is eye-catching, but the content of the video that the thumbnail is attached to is actually about the topic that's in the thumbnail, then that thumbnail is not clickbait. And if you've got an eye-catching thumbnail, just because it's one of those with the face or whatever, that doesn't make it clickbait either. No one wants to make a thumbnail with a gurning face and giant text and "look at this" and all of those circles and arrows and things like that. No one wants that. Everyone wants to make a good thumbnail that shows what they're actually about. But you have to. And I can prove what happens if you don't follow the specific YouTube formula for thumbnails. Here is my main channel. This is Gamehammer Classic Gaming. I review retro video games and do retro game live streams Monday to Friday. I have a monetized channel with a small following, and my view count generally bumps around the 100 to 300 views per video level. Nothing too big, but it's a fun community that I've put together over the last few years where I share my passion for games. Gamehammer used to be where I did a daily news video, or how-to guides, or short films. When I click on Most Popular, you can see what I mean about a catchy thumbnail and title effect. Not a single one of my video game reviews gets into my most popular list. All of them are using the YouTube formula instead. 4 of the most popular are how-to guides that are a decade old or more. I told you I've been around for a very long time. And 2 of those have a large image of a person staring straight at the camera. That is important. It's part of the thumbnail formula. The other 2 are bold and eye-catching, another part of the formula. The majority of the most popular have both a bold coloured thumbnail and a person taking up a lot of the image, staring straight at the camera. This is because that works. Then there's my most popular video ever on Gamehammer. It has more than 3 times the views of the second most popular video. It has a bold image. It's eye-catching. It has a sexualized topic and a title about nudity. You cannot tell me this is a coincidence, because it's absolutely not. Sex sells, be it print media or YouTube, it sells. Putting a human face front and center grabs attention. It's human nature. Getting an eye-catching, bold set of colors grabs attention and keeps it focused. A headline that looks like something that came straight out of the sun grabs your attention and makes you want to see more. These are all part of the YouTube thumbnail formula. And we do it because it works, and if you don't, your video will be bypassed in favor of someone else who is following this formula. This is basic human psychology. Don't believe me? Let's check out a second channel that shows exactly the same thing. This one is my vlog channel. It's small, but has a dedicated following and can usually expect anything between a handful of views and a couple of hundred views. The topics that pull the majority of the views have a human face and bold colours on the thumbnail, same as with Gamehammer, same as with all of the other channels. When we switch to the most popular views, look at what we see. Plain as day, bold colours, catchy titles, human faces front and centre. It is what you need. Still not convinced? Third channel, Jenny's channel. You likely know Jenny's channel. She's all about model railways, but she wasn't always, because at the start she also reviewed vinyl records and talked about her time in broadcasting or as a writer. Over the years, we've specialised Jenny's channel, just like I did with Gamehammer and my vlogs channel. Keeping to a specialised topic means YouTube knows what your channel is about, and it will push it to people who also like that topic. Jenny's videos range in popularity from 1,000 to 5,000 views on average. Some are of course higher. And she uses some of the 4 targets from the formula to make a thumbnail that people will want to click on. When we check her most popular videos, you can see what happens when we increase the number of formula targets that we hit. Instead of just going for bold colours and a human face, let's add in a title that catches the viewer's attention. Suddenly, the view count goes up tenfold. But it's still not clickbait because she's actually talking about what's in the thumbnail. The YouTube algorithm likes it when you hit the targets in its formula, and it rewards you by actually showing your videos to people instead of hiding it in favour of someone else who's playing by the rules that get you seen. That's why all the videos you see have these god-awful thumbnails. None of us like doing them. Everyone thinks it's stupid, but you have to play the game, otherwise what is all your effort for? It just gets left behind in favour of the people who are doing the stupid thumbnails and all of those silly titles. You have to play the game just to get seen. It doesn't mean that the channel is pushing an agenda. It doesn't mean that they're trying to be a celebrity. It doesn't mean that they're trying to be a grifter. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means they want to be seen, because if you're not seen, what is the point of making the video? We want to share our passions. We want to talk about the things that we like and which we know you like too. But you can't do that if no one's seeing your videos. That's why you have to do this. And yeah, you don't like it, we don't like it. We all know it looks stupid, but it works. That's why every magazine you see on the high street has the same thing. You'll see a big picture of a person or some kind of eye-catching, bold-coloured thing, and those headline-type tabloid headlines all over the front of magazines. It's all the same thing because it's basic psychology. We're doing nothing different than the original media, the old print media, is doing. We're playing the same game for the same goals. Doesn't mean we're grifters. But when you use these open-ended, catch-all terms, it means that those people who are bad actors, who are here only to make money, who are only here to try and squeeze that hard-earned cash from you however they can, it means they can hide right next to the genuine people. Sit side by side with them. Go to events and push their agendas and try and make their own celebrity status and be loved and adored and all of that. Whereas the rest of us just want to be part of the community. It means that those bad actors can hide right next to us because you're putting us all in the same box. Please don't make their jobs easier. That's all we're asking, guys.
I'd like to thank everybody over on Patreon, and an extra special huge thanks goes out to our Patreon heroes. Without you guys over on Patreon, we really wouldn't be able to keep making the video content that you see on this channel. And don't forget that you can also head on over to patreon.com/Jennifer Kirk and check out the different tiers of rewards. Thank you so much. You are absolute legends.